tanda kumutang prashanti peso di branshu tang kumki ni chini fosho. Okay, I hope you all have this book. Raise your hands if you do not have this book with you. The Bliss of Non-Dual Bodhicittas. Okay. Okay. So basically, today, as we all know, is the Mahatma Gandhi's birth anniversary, and the Tibet House, the Buddha statue in the Buddha Jayanti Park. So this statue is the one which His Holiness the Dalai Lama offered to the Indian government and to the people of all the people of India, all the Indians as the gesture of gratitude for their tremendous kindness in rendering shelter, support, and everything. Not just since 1959. In fact, the whole culture of Tibet, the amazing, incredibly rich culture, the philosophy and so forth of Tibet, all came from India. So keeping in mind all these, His Holiness, as a great gesture of the profound gratitude to the Indian government and the Indian people. So His Holiness offered that. And so this one thing. And then since last year, we decided to incorporate this ceremony of remembrance, with the Bodhicitta Day, which 2013, His Holiness very clearly indicated to me that whenever Tibet House organizes the programs for public, why not organize the Aspiration Bodhisattva Vow ceremony, the undertaking the ceremony of Aspiration Bodhisattva Vow. So Bodhicitta Day is nothing but to observe this undertaking of Aspiration Bodhisattva Vow for all of us. So and then along with that, we also include our soul offering. And for the non-Tibetans, this word soul offering, you may be wondering as to what it is. Sok means accumulation. In other words, in simple terms, in its most simple form, all the edibles, the offerings that we made. So they are what we call as the soul. And in actuality, this is just symbolic. What is to be offered is anything good that you have, more precisely the virtues that you have. Offer these in the form of the best of the things that you can think of in the universe to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So the purpose for doing so is the virtue, the direction of the virtue that you are going, that turns out to be very fruitful without obstacles and so forth. So these are all the things coming together. One is the Gandhi Jayanti, and then number 2, the undertaking the Aspiration Bodhisattva Vow, Bodhicitta Day, and number 3, the Sok offering. So all these you put together, then along with the commemoration of the installation of the Buddha statue in the Buddha Jayanti Park as a gift of the gesture of gratitude to the government and the people of India. Okay, so with this in mind, this is in a way, is a very auspicious day for all of us. And as I said earlier, why not we including the visualization? Your two parents, okay, let us wholeheartedly do that. So it doesn't matter whether you're Buddhist or not. This is not the point. The point is, how to say to make yourself happier person, how to make your family members happier, and more precisely say how to cultivate the happiness is nothing but the result of the virtues, and how to cultivate the virtues which are common to all the traditions, Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, Jainism, Sikhism, Judaism, Baha'i, Buddhism, all traditions, and even the non-believers, they also see that compassion, virtue, meaning to be kind to somebody else. So that is so the important and precious. So with that in mind, let us include, let us visualize your two parents with you, and all the family members around you, and everyone in this world, including human beings, animals, insects, and the spirits, whether you believe in it or not, it doesn't matter if you believe in it, include the spirits and the deities. And our job is to make the whole world, happy world. To do so, it is through the cultivation of good thoughts within us, compassion, and boil down to compassion and the wisdom, these two. And we need to seek inspiration. In order to acquire these two qualities of our mind, we seek inspiration from all the blessed ones, all the enlightened beings, such as, say, Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, Baha'u'llah, and Mahavir, and the Ram, Krishna, and the Buddha Shakyamuni, and from all these enlightened beings, whosoever you see as a source of inspiration for you, for cultivating wisdom, for cultivating compassion, you can visualize them in front of you. And with that in mind, we will turn to page 3 of the book, page 3 of the prayer book. And as we read, it is not for the sake of reading. It's not for the sake of reading, for the sake of invoking the respective experiences. And for invoking the respective experiences, as we read, just see that the meanings are reflected in the mind. And then you are reading this, and all beings are joining you, including your two parents. And through great compassion, you taught the Makkada Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And through great compassion, you taught the Makkada Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And through great compassion, you taught the Makkada Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all these spheres seeking pacification, complete peace, as causes those having achieved the aims of the world, have subduers expand a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. The teacher, Sugata and protector, to you are my prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays. To you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. I go for refuge until enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Okay, the next stanza we'll read in Tibetan. So what we already said in English, in Tibetan is the following. Why we are saying this in Tibetan is because that the same stanza was being said, is being said, will be said by innumerable enlightened beings in order to generate a very courageous mind to take the responsibility to elevate, to liberate all beings from suffering. So therefore, this is a very blessed stanza, blessed in the form that you'll be inspired, you will be affected very positively by the power of the innumerable billions and trillions times of recitation of this stanza in Tibetan. So we'll all try to say this in Tibetan. So even those who do not speak Tibetan, doesn't matter, just read it. So this is it. Sanje Juda Soge Chonam Na Chanjo Padu Dani Gyapsu Chim Dagi Jinso Gebe Sonam Tola Penjere Sanje Jubare Sho Sanje Juda Soge Chonam Chanjo Padu Dani Gyapsu Chim Dagi Jinso Gebe Sonam Tola Penjere Sanje Jubare Sho Sanje Juda Soge Chonam Chanjo Padu Dani Gyapsu Chim Dagi Jinso Gebe Sonam Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I gender the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, this mantra is extremely precious, extremely important, and in fact, so the meanings indicated down there, what it says is that all experiences, particularly all the undesirable experiences, sickness, aging, death, tension, stress, depression, anguish, anxiety, they all arise from our own mental state. So they don't arise randomly. Of course, the external factors are there, but like the sound of a clap, they should necessarily come into being by the combination of the external factors and the internal factors. And while the external factors are there, the point is that if you remove the internal factor, no matter how forceful, how vicious the external factors are, cannot affect to create the sound of the misery within you. So what it teaches us here, what the stanza teaches us, indicates us, inspires us, is to get it to the internal factor, so that despite the heaviness, the enormity of the external factors, your peace of mind will not be disrupted, that will be retained. So all these enlightened beings, as I mentioned earlier, Ram, Krishna, Buddha, Mahavir, and the Prophet Muhammad, Baha'u'llah, Jesus Christ, Abraham, all these enlightened beings, they came on this earth, but the external factors remain the same. Tsunami is there, global warming is there, pollution is there. All these problems are bound to be there. External factor is not that when the enlightened beings they come, then the external factors are subdued and all the beings are liberated. No, this is not what happens. So just see around us, read the newspapers, and you will see that external factors always remain the same. They are as vicious, and all the natural disasters, calamities are all there. But these teachers came to teach us how to get into the internal factors, so that at least one of the two hands is gotten rid of and the sound of clap stops. Sound of clap, which symbolizes the suffering and the miseries which we would go through, will be brought to an end. So therefore this stanza is extremely powerful, and precisely if you are able to recite it with the meanings reflected in the mind, then it is of incredibly great impact in the mind, and then from you see that people around you, from the members, they will be affected so positively. They can see the calmness within you, extraordinary calmness within you, and this is how others benefited, and then they will again benefit their own circles. So this is how we can benefit others. And again, the same thing, this stanza was said by innumerable enlightened beings, innumerable times. We'll recite this 3 times with the tune. Those of us who are new to this mantra, just listen to us, and then say follow us, or recite with us as well. Join us. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava Ekam desham tathagato yavatat desham chayo nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaya Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Pranam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaya Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hedum Tesham Tathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaya Swaha. The meaning of the mantra: all phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well is taught by the great seer. The next page. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-lined, and non-composite. Such is the natural dharma I've discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to the words. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the professional wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. It is an ultimate apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times are the obeisance. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of all. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, please liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of aeons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. If attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, page 14. Page 14, praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. So as Puri recites, again the point is that it's not a matter of just praising the Buddha Shakyamuni. They say on what basis, citing what kind of qualities of the Buddha, the praise is being said, and the coming to identify what these qualities are. See if you have some of these qualities within yourself, part of these qualities within yourself. If you have, rejoice in that, because that these are the qualities on the basis of which you eventually will become fully enlightened yourself, where your all the mental defilements will become resolved, and the true nature of yourself, like the perfect purity of the water, perfect purity of the diamond, becomes manifest eventually. So, whereas we see that we don't have these qualities, it doesn't matter. Knowing that these are the qualities that we need to cultivate, on the basis of which we can become freed from all the miseries. The job is then to see that what are the qualities mentioned indicated there, and then how I can cultivate them within myself, and once cultivated, how to nurture them further. Okay, with that in mind, again, same thing. Remember all beings, and particularly your two parents, and you are leading this, and everyone is joining you. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one born beyond, the full destroyer, completely perfected, full awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, Lord of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to do the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subdued from the Shakya clan, I persuade the offerings to go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paged out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To do her voice then I prostrate, with pure bodies, form supremely pure, which emotion like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With a supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Just feel like you, the three worlds are not. Incompatible wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean. To you, the Tathagata, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated also show the path to liberation. The holy feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts. To you, the Sangha, are prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through this marriage, may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the four falls, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by waves of aging, sickness, and death. Okay, let us turn to page 29, Heart Sutra. This is again the very important text. This is a very important text. And Heart Sutra. Heart Sutra means essence of all the teachings the Buddha gave. Teaching on compassion, how to cultivate this compassion. So they oftentimes, okay, this is a very important point that we need to keep in mind. Oftentimes we say that, somebody may tell you that we should be compassionate. We should be compassionate. And then we also don't tend to ask the question, how can we be compassionate? How can we cultivate this quality of compassion? And if you say, okay, yes, but I don't know how to be compassionate, right? And then the answer is, be compassionate. You should be compassionate. The thing is that, where is the rationality? What should be the basis which can potentially help us to be convinced that compassion is something that is to be cultivated and that I can cultivate this compassion. So for that matter, the Buddha's message of what compassion is, how to cultivate compassion, and compassion having two sides. Say, the one, to have a very close feeling towards the beings, closeness. Other, seeing the miserable condition of the beings. When these two things combine, then compassion automatically grows. But then how to cultivate this feeling of the closeness to his being? How to cultivate that? I don't feel close to other people. How can I cultivate this close feeling? So there are steps. There are two methods. One, the sevenfold cause-effect method to generate the compassion, and the other, the equalizing and exchanging method to generate this compassion. So there are two methods. And then seeing the miserable condition of sentient beings. Just look at the newspaper, read the newspapers. We will see all the miserable things the whole world is going through. So combining the two, automatically your compassion grows. Okay, so how the compassion is actually taught, how to be cultivated. All these are very clearly indicated in this Heart Sutra, one. And then number two, with the compassion, then the point is how to be wise enough to actually benefit all beings. Sometimes we can be very compassionate, and then in the process of helping others, we can create more problems because you don't know the situation. So the knowledge, the wisdom must be there. The wisdom will make the compassion a very skilled compassion. Otherwise, compassion per se, people can easily abuse your compassion, and your compassion can also create disaster because of the lack of the knowledge and creating more problem. So it is known as the skillful compassion. So this Heart Sutra, it teaches us how to cultivate this skillful compassion. And through this, then, like water, dirty water from the Yamuna river, you remove the dirt and the water automatically, the purity comes out. So this purity, all the mineral water that we get from the shops, These are all the treated water. The water being treated initially was not as clean as what we see there, and through treatment, subjecting the water to treatment, then removing this, separating the dirt, then the purity from inside comes out. Likewise, our mind, however polluted, however defiled our mind is, there's not like a black charcoal, it is like a dirty water. So however dirty the water is, by treating this water to the proper processes like the reverse osmosis, ultrafiltration, so forth, then the dirts can be separated and the purity comes out. Likewise, our mind, the purity is within. Each one of us, whether you're Buddhist or not, doesn't matter. Whether you're a believer or not, it doesn't matter. We all have this purity inside us. So the point is, how to awaken this purity? That is through cultivating this wisdom. Wisdom blend with the compassion. These two things together, then the purity can be awakened. So this is when you are of the two hands, despite the external factors indicated by one hand, the other hand indicating the internal factors, internal mental pollutions, they're all removed. With this, the sound of the misery stops for yourself, then you can teach others how to stop their miseries. Okay, so this Heart Sutra is so precious, and so in the end we're going to recite the mantra. Of course, this mantra will make sense only if will make a great sense only if we know the essence of this, the content of the import of the Heart Sutra. Okay, so here the point is we need to know 3 points as we recite Heart Sutra. 3 points not to miss. One is the question asked by Shariputra. Number 2 is the response given by Avalokiteshvara. Then number 3, what's the benefit if you practice Heart Sutra as indicated by Avalokiteshvara? What's the benefit? So the first question asked is how should the child of a lineage practice the perfection of wisdom? Indicating that anybody who wishes to benefit all beings, what should that person practice? This question asked by Shariputra. Then the response given is that we should be able to see everything like a dream. Only if you're able to see everything like a dream, then when do you realize the dream is dream? In the dream or outside the dream? In the dream, you see the dream as real. Only when you come out, you see the dream as dream. Only when you come out, you see the dream as dream, and thus the fear, the nightmare of the dream stops when you come out. So likewise, only when the perception that is taking place within us at the moment, things are so solidly there, so objectified there. These are all what Avalokiteshvara referred to as illusion. So these are all deceptive. Things do exist, but they don't exist the way they appear to us. They exist like a dream, all coming from a mind, not from the object. The movie that we are watching on the movie screen in the movie theater, the small children, they think that what is screen there, like the very horror movie there, the small children will be so scared, they don't even dare to look at the screen, thinking that it's really there on the screen. Actually, it's not there from the screen, it's coming from the projector. And the projector is behind you, it's not on the screen. Only if you know that it's coming from the projector, not from the screen, you will not be horrified by what you see on the screen. So likewise, when we realize that everything is nothing but coming from the mind, then the horror of samsara, the nightmare of samsara, they will all stop. So once you realize this, once you can experience this, then you can share this with your parents, with your family members, with all sentient beings. This is how we can meaningfully help others to get out of samsara. Otherwise, we see that at times we become so helpless. What do you do? If we try to help somebody, it can actually create more problem behind you and so forth. This is such a desperate situation. We really don't know how to tell. But if you plant the seed of the wisdom, how to wake up, despite they being in a very difficult situation at the moment, your mother, your father, your relatives, your friends, people around you, despite they're going through such a difficult stage now, which is almost like unavoidable, but if you plant the seed of the wisdom to wake up from the sleep of ignorance, that will eventually help the person to be freed of not only this immediate suffering, but the suffering altogether. So this is so precious, and once you understand this whole import, the way it is here, said here by Avalokiteshvara, and if you're able to condense all these points in the mantra, Dyatom Gade Gade Para Gade Para Sambhade Bodhiswaha, then you can recite this for somebody who is going through ailments, somebody who is going through tragedies, or say when you're traveling, you come to a new place where you meet and you see so many people, millions and billions. For example, say you're on an airplane, from there you just see the whole city down there, how many millions of people are there. For example, in Delhi, like I think 40 or 50 something millions are there in Delhi. So you can pray for all of them. You recite this mantra, Dyatom Gade Gade Para Gade Para Sambhade Bodhiswaha, and mentally talk to them, tell them that to wake up from this sleep of ignorance, so that the nightmare that is going on in your dream will all stop automatically. Okay, this is the essence of what we recite. This is so precious. And again, let us not forget to include your two parents and all of family members, including children, and everyone, all sentient beings around you. And you are leading this. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling on Master Vulture's mountain, Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of Bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara, looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those five degrees also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound professional wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any daughter of the son of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound professional wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five degrees also as empty of inherent nature. And form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composition factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composition factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element or no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering or origination, cessation path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, Bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, a mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment. It aligns with the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as truth, since it is not false. Dyatam Om Gade Gade Para Samgade Bodhiswaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound professional wisdom like that. Then the Buddha rose from their concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound professional wisdom just as you've indicated. Even the Tathagatas will rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding the entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised as spoken by the Buddha. Okay, we're going to recite this mantra now 7 times with the tune, in tune. And as we recite this, the one thing that we need to keep in mind, if you know the meaning, well and good. Of course, we don't have time to explain the meaning now. To make it just the essence of what this mantra is that whatever goodness, whatever good qualities that I cultivate, compassion, wisdom, understanding, generosity, say gratitude, all these good qualities, I will not remain complacent with these whatever good qualities that I have now. What I do is I will keep improving them. I will keep nurturing them, right? From where I am now, I will nurture them further to the extent of becoming extremely intense, powerful, where that you become like a mother. To the extent that you see yourself like a mother and all others like your very small, young, tender children who do not really know, who only see today, who don't see tomorrow and beyond. And so no matter how the troublesome they are, but for you, there's a tremendous, more the troublesome they are, more you see like them as a very small child who do not see tomorrow, who do not see the interconnectedness, interdependency of the whole universe. So because of that, the less the person sees the interdependence of the world, more the person is bound to become selfish and short-sighted. And the more the person is self-centered and short-sighted, more the person is going to suffer. So there, the mother sees them like a very tender young child who is so immature and not at all seeing the faraway future and also the vastness of the space. So the point is that I'll grow myself, I'll keep growing. Whatever good qualities that I have, I'm very happy about these things. At the same time, I'll not remain complacent, I'll keep growing in these qualities. Okay, with that in mind, let's recite this. Again, the same thing. This is a very important mantra. We'll include your two parents and all beings with you, and you are leading this. Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvatyata Om 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 Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvatyata. Continue reading from page 31. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possess the power of the truth. May in and outer hindrance be transformed. May they be dispelled. May they be not may they be pacified. May all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and conditions so harmful to the Dharma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma. May auspicious of perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, the next 8 verse mind training, the next page 32, 8 verse mind training. So the Heart Sutra is to cultivate the wisdom within us, and the 8 verse mind training is to cultivate the feeling of compassion towards others, and the negative force which impedes or which hinders us from generating a great compassion is the anger. So this will teach us how to eradicate anger. And anger, as we know that the basis of anger is the ego, self-referential ego. And the ego, say, it can vary from 1% to like 100%. So oftentimes, when the degree of the ego is below 50%, we don't consider, ordinary people will not consider the person's egoistic. When we describe somebody's egoistic, meaning that the degree of ego is more than 50%. So in other words, the moment the anger arises within us, no doubt there's the ego there. Be it very small, insignificant, still it is there. So the ego, self-referential ego, why should it happen to me? Why me? This attitude, there's the underlying, that feeling is this self-referential ego. And the ego is the one which makes you to have anger. At the moment the anger arises, let us keep this in mind, anger is a sign of weakness. It is not a sign of strength. Never ever forget this. Say, when will you show anger? Say, if there is a choice, no, not really choice, but say the tendency for us to show anger. Say somebody who is extremely dominating and very powerful. Say the person so unkind towards you, and then your mother who's so kind. So to whom? When you see that you cannot show anger towards this person who is very dominating, then you will show this anger towards your mother. Which means that why don't you show the anger towards this person who's dominating? Anger means to challenge. Why don't you challenge this person? Why should you challenge your mother? Because you feel weak. You know that the mother will not challenge. Mother will not fight back. So this is nothing but a sign of weakness. So therefore, the moment the anger, but it's not that yes, that makes sense, so I'll not anger from today onwards, and then anger stops. No, it doesn't happen like this. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a matter of being mindful that anger is a sign of weakness. Anger is a sign of weakness, and where I tend to show anger towards my mother, towards my, siblings, or towards my brother, say like the relatives, or towards somebody who's very close to me, or towards somebody who's very bossy, who's very dominating, influential. Yes, we tend to show anger towards somebody who's, weaker, which means that you're weak yourself. So this is a clear indication of the weakness, anger. So now, at least from what we are coming together here, let us make a commitment. Of course, there are so many important things, extremely noble ideas that we are learning from this program. But at least if one thing, something minimum that we can take home is that anger is a sign of weakness. If you're able to remember this much and go home, and the moment the anger arises, see how true it is. Can you show this anger to somebody who's very dominating and bossy? Or you show this to somebody who's weaker? Of course, we show this to somebody, express this to somebody who's weaker, which means that this is a sign of my weakness. I don't have the strength, it's weakness. Why should I be weak? I will not give in to this anger. The dog, if we chase the dog, what will the dog do? Dog will run away. Dog will run away. And then suddenly if the dog is cornered from the house or a place, the dog cannot run anymore. What will the dog do? Then the dog will attack you. So the dog attacking you is not because the dog is strong. The dog feels vulnerable. The dog feels desperate. Now there's nothing that I can do. If I don't attack, I'm going to be killed, or I'm going to be bitten. So therefore, the dog feels vulnerable, the dog feels desperate and attacks you. So therefore, vulnerable means weak. Only when the dog feels so weak, then the dog attacks you. Whereas if the dog, there's a place to run, the dog will keep running, will not attack you, will keep running. Likewise, this is what anger is. Anger is nothing but a sign of weakness. Particularly if you show anger towards your mother, somebody who loves you the most on this earth. If you show anger to his mother, this is a clear indication. You tell yourself that, okay, shall I show the same anger towards my boss, who's very dominating and extremely, the overwhelmingly, the dominating and powerful? Can I show this anger to him, her? No. Why not? I'm weak. So this anger is the demonstration of my weakness. I will never surrender to anger. I will never give in to anger. So this much, if you can take away from this today's program, this itself is a great success. You will see a tremendous change happening at your home. Your mother will start, day by day, you will see that your mother will start to have a glow on her face. Right? And then whole family is very happy. Because of this happiness that you see in the family, you feel very happy. Because we are happy, the family will again, the happiness is like a, say, ripple effect. This is extremely important. So therefore, say the opposite of compassion is anger. Compassion is what attracts, what brings everybody together, what gels everybody together. And anger is what pushes away all others away from you. So anger, the base of anger is the self-referential ego. And some of us, we may think that I don't have ego, but anger arises. So which means in your case, the anger ego is below 50%. Still the ego is there. So just say no to anger, say no to the ego. So these 8 verses will teach us how to say no to the self-referential ego and thus not give in to the anger. And when the anger subsides, automatically it will leave room for compassion to grow towards others. The moment the compassion grows, you're happy, everyone is happy. Okay. With the determination to achieve the highest aim, for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the visual gem, may hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest of all, and from the very depths of my heart, respecting both others and superiors. No one reason have brought into my mind, as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as the image of myself and others, and strongly confront them and avoid them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear to their very mind, as if I have so little. When others out of jealousy treat me wrong with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone in whom I place great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of age, mundane concerns, and may I recognize all these as illusions, devoid of claiming release from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast space that have amassed from working with After this practice for a great length of time, may I become shivering Buddha for all those whose minds, wisdom, eyes, blinded by ignorance. Okay. The next 7th puja. This is, say, what we're going to do is taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. In Tibetan, it is known as Mönsen Choge Sungpa. Mönsen Choge Sungpa. Taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. For that matter, because that this is an incredibly important ceremony, pertaining, this is like the ground, this is like the bedrock for the growth of the virtues, for our growth of the happiness. Because that this is the final essence. What for? Why? Why the younger ones, they go to schools, colleges, universities, while the elders are, going to jobs and so forth. Why? Finally, to sustain oneself, for one's own happiness. And the real happiness, the final happiness, is given by the good heart within yourself. So this good heart, so we see that sometimes we may be good, sometimes good heart meaning that's compassionate, loving, caring, so forth. Sometimes we have these qualities, some other times not. So now, which means that the ground is not stable. So with this undertaking of the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, we are laying a very strong ground, the bedrock for the virtues. So because that this is an incredibly incredible and the journey, it must be supported by laying a proper ground for us, which means that, say, this virtue is a mental state, and the mind, within the mind, we see that there are the dirt, mental dirt, the defilements are there. So with these mental defilements, even if you put in something so virtuous, the virtues will become defiled. It's not going to be as effective. So mental defilements have to be got rid of. And then meanwhile, say the factors to support the virtue, the factors to nurture the virtue, they must be very strong. So these 7 in puja, these 7 factors are employed in order to do that, to remove the mental defilements and to make the land of our mind very fertile for the virtues to grow. Okay, with that in mind, the meaning of the stanzas, they are self-explanatory. We can just read them and see if the meanings are reflected in your mind. Okay. I bow down to the youthful Aramanjushri, you lions amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future. In the worlds of 10 directions, to all of you with bodies, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With an energy or aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every atom of Buddhas numbered as his atoms, each amidst the host of Bodhisattvas. And I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with the Buddhas in this way. With the infinite oceans of praise for you, and the oceans of sound from this aspect of my voice, I sing the excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugātas. Beautiful flowers and regal gardens, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, offered to you victorious ones. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, scented with powder, heaped high as Mount Meru, all one's offerings in spectacular array, offered to you victorious ones. With transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, offering bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and confusion, all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift my heart and rejoice in all the merits of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers, hearers, souls to training, and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of worlds in 10 directions, who attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening. All you are my guides, please turn the supreme will of Dharma. I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for aeons numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making prostrations, offerings, and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha's deeds, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. Okay, the next mandal offering. Mandal offerings, the meaning is the idea is to offer everything good that you can think of in this universe, your own possession, what the universe possesses. You offer all these good things to all the enlightened beings, Buddha and Bodhisattvas, that you accumulate so much of merit so that you can undertake this journey without any obstacles. Okay. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is a Buddha field and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. Becoming frustrated with ignorance that grasps the true existence. Please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind is stream for overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes the others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Rana Medalagam Nirati Amen. Okay, the next are the foundation of all good qualities. So this is the final, up to this point is preparing ourselves to undertake this journey. So now, with this preparation done, what actual practice should we be doing? What actual practice? So these 14 stanzas, they will tell us in stepwise manner as to what to practice, what to reflect on, so that as we said the mantra, Tiyathom Gati Gati Paragati Parasamad Buddhiswaha. In English it means go beyond, go utterly beyond, and establish an enlightenment, establish your awakening, establish your the ultimate happiness. So how to go? How to go? This question. How to go? So these 14 stanzas will tell us how to go. Okay. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly saying this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once. It's greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all other migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even I've developed bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vow with great energy. Once I pacify distraction, withdrawal, objects, and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of karma abiding special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme virtual vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishment through attainments is keeping pure vasa samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect this vast and pleasures like my life. Then having realized the importance of the 2 stages, essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed the noble path and his spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separate from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages of the paths, may could attain the state of Vajradhara. Okay, now we will do the actual taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. The next page, it reads generating the body of consummate yoga. So this is the taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. for that matter, okay. The timer's there. With the gong. Huh? It doesn't matter. Or somebody has a gong. Somebody has a gong. Yes. The patient you have? Yes. Kumudla. Kumudla, what is that? Ting ting or is it gong? Gong, good, yes. Kumudla from the beginning. Beginning.
It's actually set to 22 minutes for
Wow.
my meditation.
You can set it to 5 minutes. Okay, so while the Kumudla is setting the timer, the 5 minutes meditation. So what is required? 5 minutes. Okay, if I say one, that if each one of us here being a part of this program, no doubt we are related to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, related to Tibet House, and related to extracting a greater meaning of one's life. So with this mind, if one is to really extract the greatest meaning out of life, what should one be doing? 4 things. 4 things. If you have these 4 things, you are being so kind to yourself and so wisely kind to yourself. 4 things. 1, and okay.
So once you say start, there will be a ramp up time of 5 seconds and then 5 minutes.
Good. And it rings in the beginning. Good. Okay. Okay. The 4 things, and how the 4 things is 1. As I said earlier, finally, if you really explore yourself, direct your mind inwardly and see what I dislike and see what I like. It doesn't matter what religion that you're following. It doesn't matter whether you're a believer or not. It doesn't matter. Just give yourself a little time to explore what I don't like and what I like. And believe it or not, we'll all come to the same point that what I dislike is the miseries, fears, right? Fear of losing the job, fear of losing your near and dear ones, fear of becoming sick, fear of becoming unhappy, fear of failing in an exam, right? And fear of seeing your near and dear ones of feeling sad. So these are all miseries are nothing but in the form of the fear, some form of fears. So this is what I dislike. And what I like, whether you call it money, power, or fun, or private time, or say adventure, whatever you may call it, what we are seeking is that we are seeking happiness. Again, same thing. It is not a matter whether you believe it or not, whether you're Buddhists or Christians or Hindus or Muslims or Jains or what. It doesn't matter. Everybody wants happiness, and if possible, 100% happiness. So these are 2 things which mark the nature of our aspiration. Everyone seeking to get rid of all the fears, miseries of life, and seeking the maximum happiness. If that is the case, first we have 2 jobs. 1, to get rid of all the miseries, then to acquire all the happiness. To get rid of all the miseries. Miseries, as we have discussed earlier, they're all like the pain, the nightmare that you're going through in the dream. So, how to get out of this nightmare in the dream? As long as you're in the dream, you can never come out of the nightmare. And temporary respite can happen. Respite can happen, say, in the dream. You're going through some, say, the problem, fear, then your father may come, your mother may come and give you a little bit of, say, the help, and then your father, mother leaves. Again, you see that you are in the same problem. So the problem that we get rid of, in the dream is just a respite. It's not a permanent solution. If you want a permanent solution to the nightmare of the dream, what should we be doing? Wake up. This is the wisest thing. Wake up. In one way, if you wake up from the dream, your nightmare will stop altogether. It's by knowing that all what was happening in the dream, they were not real. They all come from a mind. Just so when you wake up from the dream, the nightmare of the dream, the moment you realize that whatever happened that night that I experienced the dream, it was just my dream. It's not real. I'm so happy. I'm so lucky. Okay, so then you feel such a relief to wake up. So waking up to know the reality, this is wisdom. Being in the dream is ignorance. So as long as we're under the sway of ignorance, only miseries will befall. The moment we wake up, we cultivate the wisdom to wake up from the dream of ignorance, nightmare will come to an end. So for that matter, cultivate the wisdom. And to cultivate the wisdom must have two qualities. That wisdom must be a very sharp wisdom, and the wisdom must be very steady in nature. The light to be used for reading books. Light must be very bright. If the light is very feeble, it does not serve the purpose. It will strain your eyes. The light must be very bright. And while the light is very bright, the light should not be flickery. Light should be very steady. So the steadiness is one quality, and the brightness is another quality. So combined together will make the light so meaningful to dispel the darkness of ignorance. So for that matter, to build the steadiness of the mind, this light, we need to have a single-pointed meditation. This is one of the 4 points that we need to keep in mind to give a meaning to your life, single-pointed meditation. Then to illuminate, to have this the brightly illuminating wisdom, we need to cultivate the wisdom, number 2. So single-pointed meditation and a wisdom, 2 things. Then the next one is that this light that we have, so if you see that your mother, your children, all family members, they are in dark, you alone, you are in a bright place, but all your near and dear ones, they're in dark, then you'll feel really compassionate. So therefore, you want to spread this light to all beings. To spread the light, you should have the experience of what it is like to live in darkness. You should have the experience of what it is like to live in the darkness with so much of fear and so forth. So for that matter, the experience that you have to get rid of this, to get rid of the fear, desiring to get rid of fear for yourself is known as renunciation. So we need renunciation. With this renunciation, then you want to expand this to all other beings, that all other beings as well should be freed from these miseries. That is the unconditional love. So 4 things. 1 is a single-pointed meditation. Number 2 is the cultivated wisdom. Number 3 is the renunciation. Renunciation meaning that wanting to get rid of this darkness of ignorance, wanting to get rid of these miseries. And then number 4 is the unconditional love of bodhicitta for all beings. If anybody understands that finally this is how to extract the greatest meaning of one's life, and then accordingly, if you make sure that you bring these 4 points in your daily practice to the best you can. What are they? Single-pointed meditation. Okay, if you were to put them in the proper sequence, single-pointed meditation, renunciation, bodhicitta, and the wisdom. So these 4 points, if you include at least like total, all 4 combined together, total like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and so forth, you are the most wise person on this earth. Meaning that you are so wise, you are being wisely kind towards yourself, giving yourself the greatest meaning, giving a greatest meaning to your life. Okay, also 4 points. First one, where there's single-pointed meditation, I'm going to give a quick instruction on this, very quick instruction. Should they be some who are beginners in terms of the meditation, single point meditation. I like to give a very quick instruction on this. Okay, for this meditation, single point meditation, we need to have 4 points to keep in mind. One is the body posture. Number 2 is the focal point, what we're going to meditate on, number 2. And number 3 is identifying the errors of meditation. And number 4 is applying the remedies to overcome the errors, the 4 points. The first is body posture. Body posture, see if you can sit cross-legged. Cross-legged meaning with the position of the Buddha, where you put the left foot on your right leg and the right foot on your left leg. See if you can sit that way. For a long-term practitioner, see, this is extremely beneficial. The left foot on your right leg and the right foot on your left leg. So whereas if you find it difficult, don't force yourself. When you go back home, try this. Go back home, try this. And initially it's going to be, no doubt, it's going to be a little painful. The moment you start feeling like pain, then release it. And when the pain disappears, again bring it back. So left foot should come to the right leg first, followed by the right foot on your left leg. This is the cross-leg position, or Padmasana. Then the body should be upright. This is extremely important. Cross-legged, it is optional. If you can do it, very good. If not, don't worry. The most important thing, 2 things very important. One is body upright. Body should be upright. And so see if you can make it a habit to sit the body upright, the spine upright. This is very important. With the spine upright, you will see that your mind automatically becomes fresh. So the people who do meditation, who use meditation, they can see the stark contrast. So when you sit your body with the bend, curve like this, bend, and then see how you meditate, how your mind works, and then sit upright and you meditate to see the difference in the sharpness and difference in the alertness and the freshness of mind. So this is extremely important to maintain the body upright. And your head tilted forward a little bit, And the second most important point to keep in mind is eyes should not be closed. Eyes should not be closed. Okay, so this is extremely important, and this you will realize later on. Particularly if you practice with eyes open, half open, 45 degrees cast down, if you practice that, initially, no doubt you will find it very challenging. Then over time, you will see the stark contrast between your eyes half open and eyes closed. With eyes closed, you see that the mind automatically becomes dull. Right? So in other words, what I would say is that it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous to start your meditation with eyes closed. Whereas you become expert in meditation with the eyes open, then eventually, later on, after about a year, 2 years, 3 years of gaining expertise in meditation, then there are times where there are meditation where you can keep your eyes closed. So there you will not be affected. But if you start with eyes closed, you will badly be affected, and it can become a very bad habit, and is very dangerous. Okay, and then the tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate to avoid excessive accumulation of saliva in your mouth. Then breathe naturally. Don't force the breath. Don't control the breath. Just breathe naturally. And then right hand on your left hand. Right hand on your left hand. And the 2 thumbs standing. 2 thumbs standing. And the 2 tips joining, forming a triangle. Place the 2 hands on your laps in a restful state. In a very restful state. And keep your body very flexible. While the body is upright, it should be flexible. Okay, so this is your body position. Then number two is the focal point, what you are going to meditate. So we're going to meditate on a very tiny dot, a tiny white dot, 1 mm or 2 mm in diameter, a tiny white dot, a nectalar white dot between the nose and the upper lip. This is where we're going to focus. And those people who can multitasking. Multitasking, you focus the mind there, but the tiny dot being nose in the upper lip. Meanwhile, simultaneously counting your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1, breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2. This is what we're going to do for 5 minutes. So, for the beginners, in group is fine. You can do it for 5 minutes, but when you're by yourself, don't do it for 5 minutes. Do it just 21 cycles. 21 cycles is little over 1 minute. And if you do it like 5 minutes, you will invariably compromise with the quality of the meditation. Where for this meditation, we must emphasize on the quality, not the quantity. Some people right from the beginning, they do meditation for a whole 1 hour in stretch. This is totally wrong. You will never improve your meditation, and then it will become a very bad habit, and there's no point. Okay, so for that matter, we're going to do for 5 minutes. Point number 3. Stretch is fine. Stretch. Okay, where you feel it's a pain on the knees or legs, feel free to stretch. Right? No problem. Okay, number 3, identifying the errors of meditation. When you meditate, what could be the potential errors, mistakes that can happen? 2 mistakes. One is mental excitement, mental scattering, and the other one is mental laxity, where the mind becomes lethargic, the mind becomes heavy and inserviceable. So, should any of these 2 errors happen, then you must apply the number 4. Number 4 is remedies. Remedies to overcome the errors. What remedies? 2-fold. Introspection and mindfulness. Introspection, in Tibetan, is Sheshin. Mindfulness is Tenpa. So Sheshin is like, say you lost your pet dog. First you go in search of the pet dog. So your mind meditating, which is intended to meditate. So this mind is like a pet dog, and this mind, instead of sitting on the focal point, it gets distracted or it starts to sleep. So there, you have to, just as you go in search of the pet dog, introspection will go in search of the mind. So once you find the pet dog, the job of the introspection is done. Next is the job of the rope. Tie the dog with the rope and bring it back home and tie it to the pillar at your home. Likewise, once you find that your mind is distracted or in a relaxed state, job of the introspection is done. Next is job of the rope like mindfulness. Then with the rope of mindfulness, bring the mind back to the intended rope, which is meditation. Okay, this is what we're going to do for 5 minutes. Start it. Okay, thank you. Next, we will quickly do the we'll quickly do the four seals. Four seals, the practice of the four seals as a part of renunciation. We'll do it very quickly. Okay, we'll do it very quickly. The four seals. The four seals are all composite things impermanent, all contaminated things of suffering nature. Everything is the nature of emptiness, selflessness, transcending source, absolute peace. We're going to do this very quickly, and then we'll switch to the Bodhicitta. So that is the most important part, but this four seals should become the ground. Without this, then the Bodhicitta we will not really feel the power of the Bodhicitta. For the four seals is very important. Okay. Reinforce the visualization of the enlightened beings, such as Buddha Shakyamuni, in front of you, and also visualize and also bring to visualization your two parents and everyone with you. And you are leading this meditation. So this is an analytical meditation. There are two kinds of meditation. What we did already, that is single point meditation. What we're doing now is analytical meditation. For the analytical meditation, we should be very creative in our thinking, and I'm going to give the instruction. This is also known as the guided meditation. For that matter, just follow the instructions and see how much you can follow the instructions to the best you can, and invoke the respective experiences. Okay, with that in mind, okay, just in a meditative state and follow the instructions. All composite things impermanent. Composite things such as the physical flowers, the houses, the bridges, the roads, the weather, your body, your mind. All these things are composite things which are composed of the particles such as electrons, protons, neutrons, atoms, so forth. And then on a larger scale, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and so forth, nitrogen, and so forth. As long as something is the composition of these factors, they should necessarily be impermanent. Impermanent is of two kinds: the gross and subtle. Gross referring to the discontinuation of the continuum of a particular object. For example, 2017 is gone. It's gone forever. And then from this we come to realize that we are a guest on this earth. If you don't believe in this, 200 years ago, this world, of course, the population was not hitting 7 billion, then perhaps maybe 5 billion 200 years ago, but there were the 5 billion human beings on this earth. Today, not even a single person from 200 years ago is alive today. That is 100% guaranteed. So in those days, 200 years ago, say some of them are as young as what the young children who are here today, like 8 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, and so on. However young the person was then. Today, not even a single person, even the youngest of the child then, is non-existent today. They're all gone. Not even a single person of the 5 billion human beings exists today. Likewise, 200 years in the future from now, the 7 billion human beings, or the 6.7 billion human beings today, Not even a single person is left then. That is for sure, that is guaranteed. So from this we see that we are just a guest on this earth. It's not that, okay, those people who passed away, they are unfortunate ones. We are living, we are more fortunate ones. No, it's just a matter of time. Within 200 years, within 120 years, everyone, not even a single person today will be left there. That is 100% sure. This is known as all-compulsive things impermanent. And this impermanence, the gross impermanence, is possible only if there's a subtle impermanence involved. The change that you see in 100 years' time is possible only if there's a change happening on the yearly basis. The change on the yearly basis and on the year basis is possible only if there's a change happening on the monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, hourly basis, minute basis, second basis, and millisecond basis. So the change that we see on the hourly basis, of course, is not something that we can visibly see. For example, wall clock. You look at the hour hand. We don't see that our hand is moving. You keep looking at it, we don't see that it's moving. But then, this invariably the movement is happening. So this change, after 1 hour, you see that this hour hand has moved to the next, but to our naked eyes, we cannot see it visibly. And the minute hand, likewise. Second hand, yes, second hand we can see it moving. Just the time between the two sounds of the tick, two tick sounds, is the duration of 1 second. So this is so visible to our eyes. So all the changes that we see happening over 100 years, 1 year, 1 month, 1 week, 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute, it's all because of the change that is happening on the minute basis, the second basis, and the millisecond basis. And millisecond means that everything's moving so fast that our eyes could hardly catch it so fast. It is as though so from this we see that our body is moving at that pace so fast. And scientifically today, physics, from the physics, elementary particle physics, from there we can see that our bodies move so fast. Likewise, if we can extrapolate the same thing to our mind moves so fast. We are nothing but made of the body and mind, so we are moving so fast. So from this we see that there's nothing really for us to feel attached to. It's something, everything is extremely so fleeting and transitory, and nothing really stays even for a moment. This is impermanent. So if this is reality, then it is as though we are thrown in a very fast moving train. Faster the train moves, the more the fear that we generate. Likewise, our bodies move so fast, our minds move so fast. Where is this fast train taking us? It depends on the driver. If the driver is your mother or father, no doubt this train, the faster it moves, you're happier. It'll take you to a picnic spot. But if the driver is either the terrorist or the driver is under the influence of terrorists, no doubt it'll only take us to miseries, the slaughterhouse. So in our case, what is the driver like, which determines this movement of the body, the mind, body, the self? It is this mind, and unfortunately in our case, this mind is dictated, is under the influence of the two demons, self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. These are the two contaminations, the worst of the contaminations, which dictate our mind to undertake this very fast movement of the body and mind. Okay, so it's so scary. Where does it end? So what the result is going to be determined by the cause. So where we're going is determined by these two demons. And because these two demons are the worst of the contaminations and the worst of the demons, they will only take us to not happy place, only to miseries. So the Buddha said, the second seal, all contaminated things are of suffering nature. As long as we are under the contaminations of the contaminant karmas, afflictions, and the worst of the afflictions, self-grasping ignorance. So as long as we are under the sway of this demon and a self-centered attitude, they will only take us to miseries. This is the meaning of all contaminated things of suffering nature. What kind of suffering? Sickness, aging, death, acute pain of losing near and dear ones. For example, the problems happen in Kerala, the problems happening in the tsunami in Indonesia very recently, the problems happening everywhere in where the terrorism is so prevalent. So there, and then even in the place which we consider as peaceful places, there the people lose their near and dear ones. Losing the pain of losing near and dear ones. All these pains are so excruciating. One moment of such excruciating pain is good enough to nullify all the pleasures that one had experienced in a life. They just mean nothing to us. They all just are so fleeting, not dominated by this overwhelming, excruciating pain of the losing near and dear ones and one's own sickness, aging, death, and so forth. So excruciating painful. And this pain, when will this stop? It'll never stop on its own. It'll never stop on their own. They are like a table record of miseries being played over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. If we don't want to go through these miseries, what should we do then? Is there a way out? Of course there is a way out, but if you don't put effort, you'll never come to an end automatically. For example, 2017, it came to an end automatically. Whether we would put effort, we don't put effort, it will invariably come to an end. But for these miseries, it will never come to an end on its own. We have to do something. What should we do? Okay. So, those of us who study the 12 links of dependent origination, and otherwise, what we learned, the self-grasping ignorance. It's ignorance. If you want to stop the nightmare of the dream, what should we do? Wake up. Come with the wisdom. Wisdom to know that the dream, that nightmare is nothing but the creation of one's own mind. As long as you're in the dream, no way you can be free from the nightmare, because you continue to see the dream as objectively real from the object, nothing from the subject, nothing from the mind. Only by waking up, you have an ultimate relief, final relief. Likewise, we have to wake up from the sleep of ignorance. How to wake up from the sleep of ignorance? So this the Buddha said. So to wake up from the sleep of ignorance, we need to cultivate the wisdom. What is wisdom? Wisdom is the discerning mind, who is the apprehension of the object, tallies with the reality. What's the reality? The reality is what the Buddha indicated as the third seal. Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Okay, we're going to quickly meditate on this. Okay, this is a little complicated meditation, and those of us who are already exposed to meditation emptiness, well and good. Those of us who are not, it doesn't matter. Just follow the instruction, and although what we're going to do is going to be very gross, but it's of incredible significance, incredible value. So try your best to follow the instruction, to see how everything is like a dream, everything is coming from mind, that nothing really there from the object. Okay, let us just imagine a very beautiful flower growing in a pot, in a vase, in your house, or in the garden, anywhere in the garden, a garden anywhere in Delhi, or say Mughal garden. So wherever you have seen a very beautiful flower, just imagine that flower. How do you see this flower? You see this flower as, say, like a dream coming from a mind, like a movie being projected by a movie projector, or something so solidly objectified there. Of course, it is so objectified there. Likewise, who is seeing this flower? I am seeing this. And how does this person look like? Okay, I'm a boy, I'm a girl, I'm young, I'm middle-aged, I'm old, whatever you are. Okay, who's seeing this? I'm seeing this. How does this person appear to you? This person, who you identified as I, how does this person appear to you? Like a dream? Or something so solidly there? Of course, so solid. This is known as self-grasping ignorance. This is mistaken mind. This is ignorance. How can I know that this is ignorance? How can I know that this is not a valid mind? Okay, if this person, if this I, if this person does exist, objectively not like a dream, remember what Nagarjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Imagine that you are sitting 1 kilometer away from me. And imagine that you are seeing me in water. And you are just wondering, how come that is in water? You are seeing me in water 1 kilometer away from me. Okay, how do you evaluate? How would you evaluate or verify that what you're seeing is water or what you're seeing is mirage? The best thing is that you will come closer to us where I'm sitting. Coming closer, you realize there's nothing, there's water. It's just a dry. From this you realize that what you earlier saw as water was mirage, it was deception. Likewise, if this person, who are you identified as I, if this person would exist objectively, why not I evaluate? How to evaluate, how to verify that this person actually exists objectively, or is like a dream, comes from the subject, from the mind. For that matter, you have to go closer towards the person, closer to the object. The way you come closer towards me to discover that what you earlier said as water was actually a mirage. Likewise, you have to go closer to the object. Okay, let us go closer to this object to see whether what you're seeing as so objectively real, so solid real, is actually real. Okay, going closer to the object, we see there is a very thin layer of the skin. That is not you. I'm looking for the person, objectively real. So anything which is not the self, we will just keep them aside, or delete them. Okay. Thin layer of the skin, of course, that is not me, keep that aside. Behind that is the fatty tissues. Of course, the fatty tissues are not me, keep them aside. Behind that, the muscles, cartilages. Of course, these are not me, remove them. Behind that, blood vessels, bones, the skeleton, bone marrows. Of course, none of these is me. We can have a bone transplantation. Bone transplants can take place. Bone marrow transplant can take place. So these are not me for sure. Keep them aside. Then your heart. No. Again, a heart transplant can happen. Lungs, kidney, spleen, liver, gallbladder, pancreas. None of these solid parts is me. All these solid parts, they constitute the element of earth. Element of earth is not me. Keep the element of earth away. What is left now? The water. Element of water. The blood which is pumped in and out by the heart to the different parts of the body. Of course, that is not me. I don't flow into blood vessels. Okay, keep them aside. Keep it aside. What is left? Element of fire, the body heat. Of course, the body heat is not me. Keep them aside. Element of air. Air which I breathe in and out through my lungs. Of course, that is not me. Keep them aside. Keep it aside. Element of space. I'm a solid person. The space of vacuum in nature. For sure, the element of space also not. Keep that aside. What is left now? Only my mind is left. The consciousness is left. Consciousness or the mind. I'm a male. I'm a female. The mind does not have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body. And people can see me. People cannot see my mind. So therefore, even the element of the consciousness, element of mind is also not be keep it aside. What is left now? Nothing is left there. Okay, now we have come too close to the object. And where is this person which you earlier saw as so objectively real? Where is that? It disappears. This is not what your mind is fabricating. This is not what your mind is playing a trick on you. This is what your mind is discovering. Your mind has discovered the reality. Okay, stay in this experience. What are you seeing now? I'm just seeing the 6 elements: earth, water, fire, air, space, consciousness. And where is this person out of these 6 elements? Nothing. None of these 6 elements is a person. Different from these 6 elements, there is a person. Nothing is there as a person. This person, they identified as the I. Okay, you are seeing the emptiness of the objective existence person. Objective person is empty. Stay in this experience for a while. This meditation is so precious. It may be very cool for us who have not really studied so extensively on this emptiness. But still, this is a very precious meditation. Stay in this experience. This is known as this is the meaning of everything is the nature of emptiness, selflessness. Okay. What's the benefit of this meditation? In what way it is very precious? Okay, just as this person disappears, all what we dislike, sickness, aging, death, the pain of losing near and dear ones and so forth, all these pain is miseries. You subject them to the same analysis, you'll see that they all will disappear. Imagine what? If you're able to meditate, abide in this experience, where all your miseries, just as this person disappears, all your miseries also disappear in this meditation. Stay in this experience. This is known as the transcendence of the miseries, transcending the miseries, where your old mental sorrow stops. It transcends all sorrow. Transcending sorrow is the absolute peace which we are seeking. This is what the Buddha indicated as a 4th seal. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Stay in this experience for a while. Wow, it's amazing. If this is something which I can really manifest in a living form, in a vital form, this is amazing experience. May I experience this in its fullest form and be able to abide in this experience for long, eternally. This aspiration is known as renunciation. Renouncing all miseries to attain the state of peace where all the miseries dissolve, sickness, aging, death, depression, tension, anxiety, the pain of losing near and dear ones, and so forth. All the miseries drop in this experience of emptiness. This is renunciation. And seeking to achieve this state is the most refined version of what renunciation is. Otherwise, people always explain about renunciation in a very coarse form. Renounce your happiness, renounce this life, and so forth. These are very coarse understanding of renunciation. Actual understanding of renunciation is to renounce the miseries through the understanding of emptiness, where all the miseries dissolve in this experience of the emptiness, and that you experience the utter peace where you have transcended all sorrows. Okay, slowly come out of this meditation before we switch to the Bodhicitta practice. Come out of this meditation. Okay. Just relax for a few seconds, then we'll switch to the Bodhicitta practice. Okay, I'm just watching how many of you are sitting with a curved spinal cord, right? Okay, just see if you can make it a habit to sit upright. And at times you feel, say the little, not really discomfort, or the little a pinch of a pain. So there you can lean against the support, but still keep your body upright. You can lean against the support, but even while leaning against the support, keep it upright. And when you don't lean, keep it upright. Make it a habit. Make it a habit. And generally speaking, we can make the okay. I'm not teaching you how to judge others, right? So you just look at the position of the person. From there, you can see whether the person is doing yoga or whether the person is doing meditation, right? So oftentimes, if you sit like this, which means the person is not doing yoga, or the person is not doing an authentic meditation. Some people may be meditating like this. I don't know. Right? This is not authentic meditation. So just see if it becomes like a habit to sit upright. And it can happen. Anybody, you start meditating with this proper position, then slowly it will become a habit to sit upright. The moment you sit like this, it's very uncomfortable, right? At the moment, when we are not using meditation, you sit with the back bend. It's comfortable. You sit upright. It's a little uncomfortable, right? Slowly make it a habit to feel comfortable sitting upright. Okay, ready for the next. Okay, again, sit properly in the meditative position. Again, this is going to be guided meditation. Analytical meditation. What actually transforms your mind is the analytical meditation. To stabilize the transformation of your mind, we need the single-pointed meditation. So we have to, oftentimes people take the single-pointed meditation is the key meditation. For them, it is totally fine. Totally fine. But the point is that why don't we go for the best? With the analytical meditation as well as the single-pointed meditation. Analytical meditation actually does the job of transforming your mind. Once the transformation happens, then to stabilize this, we need single-pointed meditation. This is how we need the harmony, the complementarity of the two meditations. Okay, so with this in mind, so I think what we'll do is that we will have a short tea break now. We'll have a short tea break for say like 20 minutes, which means we'll come back at what it is 12:25. We'll come back at 12:25 to continue because again the main ceremony, taking the aspirin Bodhisattva vow, still left, right? So therefore, so we need more fresh time. Refresh yourself a little bit. A tea is ready here to the other room. Please refresh yourself for the next 20 minutes and come back. Om Gati Gati Aragati Arasangati Bodhi Swaha Om Gati Gati Aragati Arasangati Bodhi Swaha Om Gati Gati Aragati Arasangati Bodhi Swaha. Okay, now we will do the Bodhicitta part. We're done with the single point of meditation, or technically known as the shamatha practice, and then we are done with the renunciation on the basis of the four seals. Now we are doing Bodhicitta, and of course for the Bodhicitta, for personal practice, personal speaking, say if you have to do this practice yourself, and then what is recommended is the two methods, the sevenfold cause-effect method, and the method of equalizing and exchanging self for others. So these two methods, they're extremely powerful, to the extent that because of these two methods, when you generate this unconditional love towards others, then it simply dissolves on the barrier of differences, barrier create barriers created by the differences, different religion, different ethnicity, different gender, and so forth. All these will be dissolved. And then you see anybody, you meet anybody, whether say the Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, Jains, Christians, and Jews, non-believers, the moment you see that somebody is there who wants happiness and who wants to get rid of fear, invariably you feel so connected, you feel so close, affection, love, and so forth, and they arising automatically. So this is extremely powerful practice, and I'm very confident today, if Jesus Christ is alive today, he won't see the difference between, oh, my followers, the Christians and the non-Christians. He will not discriminate. Likewise, if the Buddha is alive today, if Mahavir is alive today, for sure they will not discriminate between my followers and the other followers. No. For them, everyone is just the same. So this is the spirit that we will get if we practice this bodhicitta. So, and because they are these two methods, they are pretty pretty detailed. So therefore, we would rather do a very simple practice in lieu of the actual steps for the bodhicitta. So that the simple steps that we're following is known as the four immeasurables, the practice of the four immeasurables to generate bodhicitta. So whereas if you have to do that by yourself, then the best would be one option to do both methods on top of the four immeasurables, or do one method today and a second method the next day, and then alternate between the two depending on the availability of time. Where you have time, then it's recommendable to do both methods. Okay, so for today we'll do the four immeasurables, and then we will directly connect this with bodhicitta. Okay, for that matter, again, the same thing, the more important thing is the sit upright properly, and then it's an analytical meditation, for which we're going to do more like a guided meditation, and just follow the instructions. Disengage yourself from the sensory disengage yourself from all sensory related thoughts, and then disengage yourself from the past experiences. Stop anticipating for the future, be in present moment, and follow the instructions, and see how much you can invoke the respective experiences. Okay, so with that in mind, let us invoke all the enlightened beings, particularly who are just absorbed into, say, the practice, the compassion, love, unconditional love towards all beings, like Buddha Shakyamuni, Jesus Christ, Krishna, Prophet Muhammad, Mahavir, Baha'u'llah, Abraham, Guru Nanak, all these enlightened beings. Anyone who you see as a source of inspiration for your unconditional love towards others, just bring them. And if possible, bring all. And then let us not miss to bring in visualization your two parents and all your dear mothers sentient beings, all your family members, including children, and all sentient beings. And you are inspiring them, and everyone is happily joining you in this practice of bodhicitta. So with this in mind, the first immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness, and the cause is happiness. The causes of happiness primarily consisting of Bodhicitta and the wisdom of emptiness. May all my dear Mother Sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I will take the responsibility that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. Even though we may feel that I can't really take this responsibility, but this is how we practice. Whatever practice that you in terms of music, in terms of any skills, first it's very superficial. Its imitation is superficial. We practice more, eventually it becomes real. So likewise, although it may be so superficial at the moment, when you said that I will take the responsibility that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. Eventually, through practice, they'll become so living and alive that where the mother does not see any distinction amongst her children, likewise, you will not see any distinction among all the other sentient beings. All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, hearing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they're intensely happy the way the mother, after all these many years of hardship raising her children, for the first time, the eldest daughter, eldest son, telling the mother, please take care of us, mother, you have done everything for us. I'm already grown up. I will take care of my siblings, and I'll also take care of you. The mother could not believe her eyes, could not believe her ears, what her eldest daughter is saying, what her eldest son is saying. She is so happy, so much of pride and happiness. This makes her tears roll down her cheeks. This is exactly what is happening to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And this happiness and the pride all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas experience invoke their compassionate minds to send the nectars, the very sweeting lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the body space of yours instills in all happiness and the cause of happiness in the minds of all dear sentient beings. And you witnessing such a miraculous happening to us all, dear sentient beings, you are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering primarily consists of self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. May all my dear Mother Sentient beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. I will take the responsibility that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, they intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate omniscient minds to send for the nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the body's beings yours frees the beings, washes away all the miseries and the cause of miseries from the minds of sentient beings yourself. You witnessing such miracles happening to us all dear sentient beings, you are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Immeasurable joy. How good would it be that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are never separated from happiness, and the source of happiness, the cause of happiness that the beings are endowed with. May all my dear Mother Sentient beings never be separated from happiness, and the cause of happiness the beings are endowed with. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the cause of happiness that the beings are endowed with. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing the living such courageous commitment, they intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate omniscient minds to send the nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the body speaks yours stabilizes the happiness and the cause of happiness the beings are endowed with. And you witnessing that such a miracle is happening to us all dear sentient beings, you are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be that all beings, all my dear sentient beings, are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, they intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate omniscient minds to send the nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the body speaks yours frees the beings from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion towards others, making them abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all of the dear sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. And you witnessing such a miracle happening to us all the dear sentient beings, you're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Abidance, incredibly powerful, incredibly beautiful mind of Bodhicitta, beautiful mind of unconditional love towards all dear sentient beings, imagining that you're piercing through the eyes of each of the sentient being, reassuring them that I'm there, have no fear, I'll take care of you, have no fear, reassuring them of their security, of their happiness, that they will be free from suffering, that they will be free from the fears of life, to the extent that each one of them feels themselves as so special in your eyes. Okay, abide in this beautiful mind. This is something which we have never cultivated. All these many years, all these many lifetimes, and today we're generating this mind, incredibly beautiful mind. The presence of which simply makes you feel so comfortable, makes you feel so happy, makes you feel so confident. Where unease, the feeling of unease finds no room. And anybody who is close to you, they feel so happy to be around you. They feel so relaxed, so composed in front of you. With that in mind, with folded hands, I'll say a line of the Bodhicitta commitment, and let us all say this together 3 times. And wholeheartedly, it can be superficial, it doesn't matter. This is how we start. And eventually it becomes so real, it becomes so alive and fresh and real. Okay, I'll say this line of commitment, and we'll all say this 3 times together. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother Sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother Sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother Sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother Sentient beings. Stay in this courageous commitment of Bodhicitta, aspiring to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Amazing aspiration. This is the most beautiful mind that can possibly exist in this universe. And today you generated it. It's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment. But how can you say that you can become a Buddha? You can become the full awakened, like a diamond. How can you say that there's a diamond there? If you clean it from outside, that the diamond inside will come out so vibrant, so blazing with light, so pure. How can you know that it'll come out? This Buddhahood or full awakening can come out from you. Of course, I'm not like black charcoal. I'm like a water which is defiled. However dirty, however defiled the water is, through the proper measures, through the proper process, we can separate the true nature of the mind, true nature of the water, from the pollutants of the water. Likewise, the true nature of the mind can be manifested by separating it from the pollutants of the mind, mental defilements. How can you remove the mental defilements in order to make this Buddha nature, Buddhahood, come out fully? Yes, these mental defilements, they're rooted to what is known as the self-grasping ignorance and its subtle stains. So the remedy for this is only through applying the wisdom. So the wisdom of emptiness, which we meditated as the 3rd seal, as a part of the 4 seals, we're going to quickly retreat that experience. Okay, let us quickly retreat the experience of the emptiness which we meditated, emptiness of yourself. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. This person, who you identify as I, this person, how does this person appear to you? As so objectified, so solidified there, or like a dream coming from your mind? Of course, not like a dream. It is so solidified that this is known as self-grasping ignorance, and the stains left by this are known as the cognitive obscurations. So this is deceptive. How can I know that this is deceptive? This person, which I identify as a self or I, is nothing but made of the 6 elements: earth, fire, water, space, consciousness. 6 elements. And none of these 6 elements is me. Remove the 6 elements. What is left? Nothing is left there. So this person is empty. This person is not really there. Okay. Imagine that you come out of the meditation. Again, the person comes back. Again, you go into the same meditation, into 6 elements, the person disappears. There's a constant change happening. But of course, on the object, there's no change. Object remains the same. But what is that change? Change is purely subjective. It is purely on your perception. And the perception is purely subjective. So therefore, whatever is involved with the change, They are subjective. And this self is a part of this change, that it comes, it disappears, it comes, it disappears. So therefore this self is also purely subjective. From the object, closer you go to the object, this self disappears. Stay in this experience. Okay, this experience of emptiness, slowly transform this, say the bodhicitta which we generated earlier, slowly transform that beautiful bodhicitta, wishing to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. That mind slowly transform this into a spotlessly clean moon disk, horizontally sitting with the heart. And then now, see yourself in the form of 6 elements, and ask yourself, where is this person who I identify as the I? It is empty, it disappears. Stay in this experience. This is the wisdom of emptiness, also known as the ultimate bodhicitta. Slowly transform this mind into a spotlessly clean white vajra, thumb-sized white vajra. Vertically sit on the moon disk at your heart. It's amazing. You're the moon disk, which is the conventional bodhicitta, which is the final remedy to overcome the self-centered attitude, and a vajra symbolizing the ultimate bodhicitta, which is the final remedy to overcome the self-grasping ignorance. So there, eradicating these 2 demons guarantees your ultimate happiness, ultimate treasured happiness manifesting. Amazing. So this is what you're seeking. Yes. But what about my 2 parents? What about all my family members? What about all the sentient beings? They are still suffering. Yes, why not? You share these 2 remedies. Vajra moon, conventional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta, with all the human sentient beings. Of course. With incredible love and affection towards all human sentient beings. This incredible love and affection invoke the Vajra moon at your heart to multiply infinite number of times. Share the Vajra moon with each one of your dear sentient beings, including your mother at her heart. One is the Vajra moon at the heart of your father, at the heart of your family member, each one of the family members, including your children, each one of your neighbors, each one of the person here in Delhi, each one of the spirits, animals, insects, devas and devis in Delhi, each one of the sentient beings in India, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. Amazing. Wow. This is, if you think back in time, this is the first time that you are doing something so noble for everyone. It's amazing. Amazing. Meanwhile, don't forget that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're watching us. We've already invoked them since the beginning of this ceremony. All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're so proud of you. They're so proud of you. Why not we invite all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to be our witness, to be our guests, to inspect our undertaking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. For that matter, as a gesture of the inviting them to undertake the ceremony of fourth, to be the witness to undertaking the ceremony of the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, imagine that you and all the other sentient beings stand up to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay, please stand up to make 3 prostrations. Okay, now you sit on your right knees. Those who have knee problem, sit comfortably in whatever position more comfortable for you. You sit in that position. Otherwise, those of you who have no problem with your knees or anything, you sit on your right knees. And then because of this, it may take a little while. In the process, if you feel pain, if you start to feel pain, then feel free to sit in a position which is most comfortable when you start to feel the pain. Right? Because if you feel the pain, you cannot concentrate. If you can't concentrate, then you cannot concentrate, then the whole purpose is defeated. So therefore, the concentration is very important. Okay, so in fact, what we're doing now, this is something which anybody can do, whether believer, non-believer, and whether you be Buddhists, Christians, Jains, Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, anybody can do this. Jews, anybody, even non-believers can also do this. It is just to invoke your compassion. See the compassion more. Okay, let us turn to page 46. Page 46. Okay, so what we're doing here, I'm going to explain this a little bit, is making commitment that henceforth, I will try my best to be compassionate towards others. Ignoring the differences, keeping aside the differences. I will try to reach out to all the beings with the best of my intention, with love and affection towards others. And as we undertake this ceremony, so this main ceremony, as we undertake this ceremony, the commitment that we have, saying there are two, for the Bodhisattva vows, there are two kinds. One is the engaged Bodhisattva vow, and the other one is the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. So what we do now is the aspirational Bodhisattva vow, not the engaged Bodhisattva vow. And then for the engaged Bodhisattva vow, one has to really consider it, meaning that one should be very serious. Only if you are ready, you have to take it, otherwise not. For the engaged Bodhisattva vow. In other words, for the actual Bodhisattva vow. So this is not the actual Bodhisattva vow. This is like a precursor or a preliminary for the actual Bodhisattva vow, also known as the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. So the commitment, there's no commitment there for you. At the most, the commitment is that henceforth, I will be kind towards others. If not, at least I will not harm others. To the best you can. To the best I can, I will try to be kind towards others. If not, at least I will try not to harm others. This is the maximum commitment we have. So with this in mind, because it does not have a commitment, still the benefit is enormous. Incredible benefit that the seed of your compassion, which is already there within you, that time to birth, this there is going to be activated. As the seed of compassion is activated, naturally you become a happier person. This is a natural process. So with that in mind, we're reading the last stanza from page 46, the last stanza 3 times. So people can actually take the aspiration Bodhisattva vow on the basis of just this stanza. But what we're going to do is a little more detail. So we'll use this stanza as the preliminary part of the ceremony. So in the process, if you feel pain, knee pain, leg pain, sit comfortably, whatever position. Okay, so this stanza, I'm going to explain it very quickly. The first one says, I go for refuge to Trubal Chen, meaning that what we are doing is a very noble task. Because it's a very noble task, we need immense support, because we cannot do it by ourselves. So we need a support. And the greatest of support is the best of the teacher, meaning the enlightened being. Enlightened being, you can think of, whosoever you take as an inspiration, like Buddha, Jesus Christ, Krishna, Prophet Muhammad, or say the Guru Nanak, Mahavir, Bahula. So whosoever you take as the source of the inspiration, you can visualize their being. And so that is, and then his or her teachings, and then his or her followers or the practitioners of this teaching. So this is where you are going for refuge. I'll go for refuge in Triple Gem 1. And then this journey, after having this support, this journey is the journey to cleanse the mind, to awaken this incredible treasure of happiness that exists within ourselves. To awaken this treasure. Awaken this treasure, this journey of the awakening the treasure inside. So for that matter, this journey must be, journey involves a path, and the journey involves the vehicle which travels on the path. So this path or the road is none other than your own mind. So this road must be clear. If the road is blocked by the trees, boulders, and so forth, then you cannot have a proper journey. You cannot undertake the journey. So the journey of this mind, the road of the mind must be clear of the mental blockage instead of the negativities. So second line says, I confess the negativities individually. Remove the mental blockage. Once the road is clear, then the car should have enough fuel. If the car does not have fuel, again you cannot travel along the journey. So what is that car? That car is none other than only mind. So this mind should have enough fuel of the virtue. So the best way by which to have enough accumulate, to gather this amount of virtue, is by rejoicing in the virtues for others. Third line says, I rejoice in the virtues for all the beings. Okay, now you are ready to start a journey. The road is clear and the car has enough fuel. So where are you going to go? What is that journey? The journey of achieving full awakening, journey of achieving the full Buddhahood, full awakening, or the ultimate happiness. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. Buddhahood here meaning awakening. Buddhahood is the Sanskrit word Buddha. The Sanskrit word which means awakening, full awakening. Okay, we'll say this 3 times wholeheartedly, and imagine that you are leading this, and all your family members, including your 2 parents, and everyone, your children, everyone is joining you in this, all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge in the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, now the actual ceremony is the following 2 stanzas. Actual ceremony. Ceremony of undertaking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. Meanwhile, don't forget that all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they are watching us, and all of the sentient beings, they are so happily joining you in this journey where you are leading this. And the 2 stanzas which we are reciting here, it says, Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Meaning that you are invoking the blessings of all these enlightened beings. Invoking them, and invoking them to be a witness, to be our guests, to be a witness here for this particular ceremony. And the next 2 stanzas is the main. So the first stanza, we're to know the meaning. The first stanza is related to the previous enlightened beings, such as the Buddha Shakyamuni, and the second stanza is pertaining to yourself. So how this Prince Siddhartha, once ordinary prince, he became the full awakened. How come that he became the Buddha? So it says, just as the previous Buddhas had generated the mind of Bodhicitta. So how they succeeded in becoming full awakened was because of 2 factors. Initially, they generated a very strong motivation to become awakened, to benefit all sentient beings. That is known as Bodhicitta, motivation Bodhicitta. Number 2, to fulfill, to materialize the aspiration of this Bodhicitta, then they actually engage in the Bodhisattva deeds, activities, Bodhisattva practices, like the 6 perfections, 4 perfections, a total 10 perfections. So it is through these 2 things that they now become enlightened. So the second stanza says that if this is how they become enlightened, now they're able to benefit all sentient beings, now that they are free from all suffering, now that they have the infinite happiness, now that they're able to benefit all beings, I will also follow their footsteps. How? I will also generate bodhicitta, very intense bodhicitta, aspiration to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. Then I'll, in order to materialize this aspiration of bodhicitta, I'll also engage in the Bodhisattva practices such as the 6 perfections, 4 perfections, and so forth. Okay, this is a commitment that we are saying. Okay, with that in mind, let's say this the 3 times the wholeheartedly. And okay, I know that you have a little bit of the pain on the legs. Just sit in the most comfortable way if you feel pain. Don't force yourself, right? Okay. Do the third repetition, with the last 2 lines, when you say, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. When you say that, imagine that you've received the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. You have received that vow, aspiration Bodhisattva vow. Then you feel the joy of having received this. Okay, let's say this. If you feel the pain, don't force yourself. I'm again reminding you, sit comfortably, right? And let's say these 2 stanzas together 3 times, wholeheartedly. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I'll generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successively, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I'll generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, you have received the aspiring Bodhisattva vow. This is such an auspicious occasion today. It becomes so special day for you. Feel the joy of having received the aspiring Bodhisattva vow. Feel the joy. And the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are likewise so happy, so proud of you. Imagine, since time immemorial till today, say a mother and her eldest daughter, or her daughter and his son, always she's hearing complaint from the school. Your son is being so mischievous, so naughty. Your daughter is not studying. Always, all these 8-9 years, she has been receiving complaints from the school all the time. And today, school principal, escorted by the school teachers and the other staff, they come to the mother. Again, the mother started to panic. Again, what kind of complaint the school principal may bring about my daughter, about my son. Today is very slightly different. The school principal comes smiling, with so much of courteous smile. And the mother couldn't believe what is happening today. And the mother, again, in a very panicky state, asked the principal, any complaint about my daughter or son? The principal said, no, this time is very different. While all the early years was very unwholesome, but this year, your daughter and your son, 2 of them, are appointed as the best students of the school for this year. The mother could not believe her eyes, believe her ears. For the first time, she is hearing something so good after all these many years of her going through all these problems because of the 2 children. This is exactly what has happened to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. They are so happy to hear all these. Since time immemorial till now, we have been bringing only bad things, bad information to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They only hear bad. They only see that we are doing only bad things. Now today, you have done something so good, which all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, for the first time, they feel so proud of what you're doing today. Taking the aspect of Bodhisattva vow, taking the responsibility of all the dear sentient beings. So this incredible pride and happiness the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas experience, imagine that it invokes the Vajra moon, the full-fledged version, the full-fledged version of the Vajra moon at the hearts of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to multiply infinite number of times. And in barrage, like rain shower, these replicas of Rajamoon from Buddha's Bodhisattva, they descend to merge with the one that you visualize in your heart. They become non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, the replicas of the Rajamoon from the house of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they descend to merge with the one that you visualize at the heart of a mother, at the heart of father, at the heart of each one of family members, each one of the beings, human beings in Delhi, the insects, the animals, the spirits, the honeygoos, the hell beings, the devas, devis in Delhi, and everyone in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy and the entire universe. Amazing. Thereby, Vajramoon, that you visualize the heart of all the demonstration beings, they are blessed. They become non-dual with that of the ones descended from Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They're blessed and become stabilized. Amazing. This is the greatest meaning. This is the greatest gift that you can possibly think of giving to your demonstration beings. And today you did it. This is a great offering that you can think of to make to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Today you did it. And this is the wisest thing, the manner in which you can give meaning to your life. And today you did it. And this is all happening because of the kindness of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Once again, along with all demonstration beings, let us slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas as a gesture of thanking them. Okay, now please take your seats. Let us turn to page 47. Page 47. So this practice which we did, this is the greatest meaning of a life. And if we can do it, if possible on a daily basis, if not on a weekly basis, maybe during your weekends when you're more free, or if you can do it on at least a monthly basis, don't make it an annual basis, make it a monthly basis. That would be very enlightening, very enriching, and extremely rewarding. This is real meaning. Once you do that, the kind of feel that you get, is going to be very different. The peace that you feel, and the richness of the calmness, the richness of the confidence, the richness of the glow will be very different. So this is so precious. Then the question is, how can I make sure that this, of course, in this life, it is in my hand. Whether I do it or not, of course, I'll do it. I'll make sure that I'll not miss the opportunity. I'll do it. But the next life, how can I be guaranteed that I will still be meeting with this kind of practice? For that matter, the best thing that we can do is to include them in the prayer. So what we are doing here, the last stanza from page 47 is a very powerful prayer. The aspiring to connect with the 2 practices, practice of the Bodhicitta, conventional Bodhicitta and the ultimate Bodhicitta, throughout your future lifetimes, even the course of life. So when you make this commitment, this will connect you to these 2 teachings in the next lives. Okay, let us say these 3 times together. In order to further encourage, throughout the second last line, second last paragraph, page 47. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by compassionate bodhicitta and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicitta even at the cost of my life. May I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Okay, now that the next stanza down, this is to say connect us. The next life, once you're connected, then how much you will follow that. For example, say you connect with the teaching of the Buddha, you connect with the, say for example, in this life, you connect with the, say, good parents, you connect with the same good parents, or you connect with some very good friends, and then how much you're going to, say, make the most of this opportunity, right? Okay, because of, for example, say some people, they are connected with the spirituality, but then they're not too serious. But some are very serious. Some people, they're not even connected in the first place. So connection is very important. With the connection, then the rigor must be there. So in some cases, connection happens, rigor is missing. So where they take it very lightly. So some people, they have the rigor, but they are not connected. So they don't get the chance to display the rigor. So two things are required. So this prayer which we said right now, that is to connect ourselves. And the next stanzas are to have the rigor. How to have the rigor? Only when we have the joy. Only when we have the joy, what we are doing, you don't feel tired. When we don't feel the joy, you easily feel tired. So the next stanza down, it is to feel the joy in this practice. So these performance stanzas were taken from Bodhisattva Shantideva's text, incredibly great enlightened being. Okay, let's read this one. Okay, so the point is that there is the word awakening mind. Awakening mind here refers to the bodhicitta, the aspiration to become Buddha form and whole sentient beings. And then in the following stanzas, there is the pronoun it. So this pronoun it refers to the bodhicitta. Okay. In order to further increase it from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized and awakened a mind in this way should highly praise it in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of the Buddha, and now I'm one of Buddha's children. Thus whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family, and never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. Is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death, is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world, is the supreme medicine that cures the world's disease, is a tree sheltered that wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence, is the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth, is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions, is the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world, is the quintessential butter from the churn of the milk of dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the boundless of happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and actually place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors and the wild guests at a festival of temperate and ultimate delight, may gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, now we switch to the sock offering, and sock offering we'll do it very quick because the preliminary, what we did thus far, this is an incredibly rich preliminary. So we'll go to the sock offering, whichever is it. Okay. Okay. So what we do is that okay, page 233. Page 233, stanza 61. before we read this, we will quickly recite Tiyatom Gade Gade. Okay, Tejala, you want to start this? Just recite. Okay, is there anyone who sings more beautifully? Tiyata Gade Gade, Tejala. Anyone who sings more? No? Tejala, you are the best. Okay, no, Tejala, you do it.
Okay.
Okay, so what we do is that the point is that okay, I will tell you what we're doing. So first we are doing very short, very brief of the soul offering. Idea is that all the good things that we can think of. So these are just symbolic. What we offered, the light we offered, and the water balls we offered, and then the eatables we offer. They are just symbolic. Anything good that you can think of in this universe, you offer to all the enlightened beings, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all the enlightened beings. And in the process, so what we have here, so they have to be first blessed. So as a part of that, because that this is the mixture of a mixture of people from various backgrounds, I will do the blessing from my side, and we will all do the blessing together by reciting this. Tiyata Gade Gade Paragade, recite this. The blessing. Actually, there's a separate blessing stanzas there, right? And some people, they may not be keen on what is all these rituals. Some people, they're excited. Wow, it's amazing, right? This is the difference in the mentality of different people, right? So the point is that I'm going to do it very quickly. So it's what we are reciting, Tiyatom Gade Gade, which means the real blessing is the blessing purifying the mental defilements, to awaken the Buddha nature within yourself, to awaken this treasure within yourself. So we'll recite this. Meanwhile, I'll do the blessing. And once that is done, then we will start from stanza 61 down as the actual offering, make offerings to the enlightened beings, then to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, to the three jewels, and then to the deities, then to the Dhamma protectors, then to all sentient beings, right? To invoke their respective blessings in different forms, blessings, teachings, then the siddhis, then in the form of the clearing the obstacles, and then finally that all the beings are freed of the delusory afflictions. Okay, so yes, Teja will start.
Sangate Bodhi Swaha Om Gate Gate Aragate Arasangate Bodhi Swaha Om Gate Gate Aragate Arasangate Bodhi Swaha Yatha Om Gate Gate Aragate Arasangate Bodhi Swaha Yatha Om Gate Gate Aragate Arasangate Bodhi Swaha Yatha Om Gate Gate Aragate Arasangate Bodhi Swaha Karata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha 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 Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha.
Okay, let's turn to page 233, stanza 61. Okay, let's recite these. So this is actually now offering whatever we have blessed, all the edibles, everything good that the universe has. They are not just ordinary the items. They are transformed in the divine forms. Now they are being offered to all the bodhisattvas and enlightened beings. Okay, imagine that all your family members, they're with you and you are leading this together. O host of root and lineage gurus, Yidams, a host of deities, three jewels of refuge, Vedas, Dakinis, Dhammapalas, and guardians of the teachings. I request you who are in the nature of compassion to appear and come to this offering site. Place your radiant feet firmly upon this elegant throne formed of jewels. Amidst an ocean of clouds of outer, inner, and secret offerings. Grant us who are striving in the supreme realization, the powerful attainments that we all wish for, who hold this ocean-like soul offering of uncontaminated nectar, blessed by Samadhi, Mantra, and Mudra. We offer in order to please you, host of root and lineage gurus, Om Ahum, contented by a spot with all the splendors that could be wished for. Emaho, please let fall a great rain of blessings. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra. This ocean-like soul offering of spotless nectar. Offer for your delight assemblies for root and lineage gurus. Satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. Please unpack, let fall of great rainfall blessings. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra. This ocean-like soul offering of spotless nectar. Offer for your delight assemblies of yidams, deities, and attendants. Satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. These are beg let fall a great rain of powerful accomplishments. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra. This ocean-like salt offering of spotless nectar. Offer for your delight assemblies of the most precious jewels. Satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. Please unpack, let fall a great rain of the holy Dharma. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra. Offer for your delight assemblies of Dakinis and Dharma protectors. Satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. Please unpack, let fall a great rain of virtuous deeds. Blessed by concentration, mantra and mudra. This ocean-like soul offering of spotless nectar. Offer for your delight assemblies of mother sentient beings. Satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. Please let delusive appearances and suffering be allayed. Okay. Come. Okay, Lokesh, you can hold this, then Branch, you can hold this. Okay, the Branch will be behind Lokesh. 배도 오신들 주셔 먹지. Okay, the Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha Dhyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha Dhyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha Om Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha. Okay, let's continue reading from page 234, stanza 69. Together. Look, Venerable, a great circle of soul, you have followed in the track of the Sugatas of the three times, and are the source of all powerful attainments. Since we realize this, O great hero, who has forsaken the conceptualizing mind, please enjoy continually the circle of soul. Allahu Very good. With nature inseparable from the three vajras, I visualize myself as Guru Yedam. This nectar, immaculate wisdom, knowledge, without stirring from Bodhicitta, I drink to satisfy the deities within my body. What a great bliss. Okay, so the idea is that the first one is the soul offering, then the second one is the nectar, and third one is the ideally like raisins. Okay, so basically the idea is that for a very sophisticated practice, there are the items which otherwise ordinary people will consider so obnoxious. So what we do is that we slightly modify these things there, and the idea is to accumulate merit for us to go through a process of the journey of enlightenment. For that matter, we make the offering, and what is the second one is the nectar. So everybody will get a full spoonful of the nectar. Logeshi will give you 1 spoon of the nectar, then you in your right palm, and drink it. As you drink it, as you sip it, okay. So as you sip it, you imagine that you experience the nectar. You imagine that your body is filled with joy, and this joy experiences the emptiness which we meditated as the third seal of the four seals. Emptiness, where in the 6 elements the self disappears. So this is what we should, if you can think of that, the joy, seeing this emptiness. If you can do that, this is an incredibly precious potential that you're implanting in your mind for the awakening, for the full enlightenment. Okay, and then the next one we have the Pranchuji. So he will give you, we need another spoon for Pranchuji. Don't worry. Okay, so again that one you eat it. As you eat this, you are having the delicacies of the divine delicacies, and you experience the joy. Same thing, you experience the joy, and then you see the emptiness. Okay, if you can do that, this is a very auspicious indication. Yeah. Okay, meanwhile we'll recite Tiyathom Gadegati. Tiyathom Gadegati Paragati Samgati Bodhi Swaha Tiyatha Om Gati Gati. Start to show this distribute. Yeah, send them. Take 2 to 3 and let them distribute. So, Kusama. Egate, Paragate, Parasangati Bodhi Swaha Dhyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhi Swaha Dhyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvaha Om Gati Gati Someone 결국 목표를 지어서 파악다 다시 한번 남아서 한다 Om Gati Gati Paragati Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvaha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvaha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvaha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvaha. Okay, raise your hands if you did not get the soul offering, the packet, your share, the blessing prasad. The blessing, everyone got it? Everyone got it? Got a share? Good. Okay, we turn to page 2 and then the young boys and girls, make sure that you get your share. Okay, and let's go. Okay, let's turn to page 235. We'll recite from there. The Song of the Spring Queen. So this is the more like the auspicious song. All Tathagata Buddhas, Vira, heroes, yoginis, dagas and dakinis. Okay, let's 235. Page 235. All Tathagata Buddhas, Vedas, heroes, yoginis, dagas and dakinis. To all of you I make this request. O Henuga, who delight in supreme bliss and attends a mudra experiencing bliss, please, by enjoying yourself in accordance with your rights, join with simultaneous bliss and empty.
May the host of chains and identities look with loving compassion and accomplish all needs. Whom we our lowest tribute, the Tathagatas, who were thus born, Shalanas, the Vedas, the Yoginis, Bhaktas, and the Yoginis dance with enchanting, soothing movements, vectors of exceedingly deep, and the multitude of vitamin come before us and bless us. Bestow upon us infinity great bliss. All our look upon us with love, bestow all the powerful attainments. We make our request to you, who are thus born as well as in the Vedas, the eight bliss that prevents us from receiving qualities, the great bliss without which neither cannot be gained in our life. So one must do us in peace, making it inspired to represent us.
Okay, just wait. So meanwhile, the song offering that you got, seems like Tibet House has been so intellectually driven all these many years. No song offering done. It's very they're unprofessional. Okay, ideally speaking, the people, you open your soul offering, and then you eat just the first part. Okay, this you take that as a form of blessing, blessing of compassion. Nothing to do with religion. It's just a blessing of compassion. Then you eat something, and then from what is left, you can offer some to the local spirits. Offer after eating the first part. Then from what is left from there, you can offer some part, say like the let's say whole biscuit, whole biggest packet. And some people, okay. So the idea is that from the remaining song, you give a share to the local spirits. The idea is local spirits, they don't have the virtuous merit enough to partake in the fresh food and so forth. They only if you give something left over, then they can partake. Otherwise, they don't have the karma to enjoy the fresh food. So in a way we are giving it is a part of generosity. From your side, it's part of generosity, and the local spirits, they can also take part in this ceremony by taking the food, part of the food. After you take, then from whatever left, you can give part of this to the local spirits. For that matter, say the Tins Gusala will come to collect the leftovers from you. Not all, just a part of it you can give. Okay, be kind. Don't just one small piece. Some people think that it's just a small piece. Whatever you ate from that part, no, it's not like that. Some people, they think like this. This is a total wrong the understanding. You can just offer anything after taking the first bite. Then later on, whatever from there, you can give the whole packet, or whole one packet you can give, or the whole juice, or whatever, small thing, big thing, whatever you can offer for the local spirits. Okay, so meanwhile, others will continue reading this, and as she comes, she will come to pick up yours, and you give that share. Okay. Okay, others start. We continue reading. Yes, Tejala.
So page 236, we'll start from the top. Though one endures many asceticisms, the great bliss abides within the center of the Supreme Lotus. Ah la 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 ho, ai
You, the multitudes of immaculate Dakinis, look upon with this love. Bestow all the powerful attainments. Whom we make a request to you, the Tathagatas who are thus gone, as well as to the Vedas, Yoginis, Dakas and Dakinis, just as lotus born out of the mud, great bliss, though born out of desires, unsullied by its faults, O supreme Yoginis, by the bliss of your lotus, may the bones of samsara be quickly untied. You, the multitudes of immaculate Dakinis, look upon us with love. Bestow all the powerful attainments, whom we make a request to you, the Tathagatas who are thus gone, as well as to the Vedas, Yoginis, Dakas and Dakinis, like a swarm of bees drawing forth the nectar of flowers, may be likewise be satiated by the captivating nectar of the mature lotus, possessing 6 qualities. You are the multitudes of immaculate Dakinis, look upon us with love. Bestow all the powerful attainments, whom impure deceptive appearances become purified in the sphere of voidness. This magnificent nectar, created out of pristine awareness, all becomes a vast ocean of all desired things. Om Ahom, Om Ahom, Om Ahom. 그죠? Light it. Light it with the incense. This room tempered with the incense. The incense. Yeah. Here, yes. Okay, we will continue reading. Dijala, continue reading. 77.
Oh, this ocean of remaining soap of uncontaminated
Nectar, blessed by Samadhi, Mantra, and Mudra, we offer to please you, host of all bound realm protectors, all our home.
Contented by your sport with all the splendors that could be wished for, MRO, please accomplish the virtuous conduct of the yogi path as you have pledged. Oh,
Okay,
but
yes. It's fine. Şimdi herkese verin ben. Ciao. Okay,
oh, by offering this ocean of remaining soap
to the guests who are left together with their entourage, may the precious teachings proliferate. May the upholders of the teachings, the offering patrons together with the entourage, and especially we yogis, all gain freedom from sickness, long life, fame, good fortune, and abundant wealth of wisdom. Okay, so one clarification here is that so we made the offering to the local spirits. Local spirits by no means they're enlightened beings. So because they're not enlightened beings, they cannot really bestow us enlightenment, wisdom of emptiness, bodhicitta, and so forth. They don't have that capacity. So they have their own capacity in terms of, say, the sending the rain on time for the harvest, for the crops, and then say the weather-wise, and then for that the illnesses can be avoided. So whatever in the capacity can be of some help to us. This is what we are requesting them to render us the help, but we are not seeking them as a refuge because they don't have that capacity to be there as ordinary as what we are. What we are, perhaps, say maybe with this power, they may be a little more powerful in terms of out of the external factors. They may have more power. Otherwise, they are as ordinary as we are. So whatever capacity they can be of some help to us. This is what we are requesting, like fame, good crops, and so forth. This is what they can do. We are not asking for them to give us the wisdom of emptiness, bodhicitta, and so forth. Okay, continue.
Bestow on us the powerful attainments of actions, such as
Pacification, increase, and so forth. O oath-bound protectors, protect us, help us obtain all powerful attainments. Make us meet no untimely deaths, sickness, demons, or interfering spirits. See that we have no bad dreams, ill omens or calamities. May we have worldly happiness, good crops and harvest. May the Dharma flourish, all goodness and joy come about, and may all the wishes in our mind be fulfilled. And by the force of this bountiful giving, may I become a self-evolved Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. And by this gesture of generosity, may I liberate the multitudes of beings who were by the Buddhas of the past. Okay, so we will now do the end dedication prayer. Page 278. Page 278. Okay, so with this we finished the Ceremony of Remembrance on the occasion of the Gandhi Jayanti, and then the Bodhicitta Day, so offering, and so all in conjunction, they combine together in order to remember the remembrance of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, having offered the Buddha statue to the government and the people of India as a gesture of gratitude. So which I hope most of you have actually been there to Buddha Jayanti Park. So this is the Buddha statue. It's incredibly great, blessed by His Holiness. So it can potentially become a great the historic, and then later on, after like 100 years, 200 years, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, of course, will be remembered so fondly, and one of the greatest, say, the pioneers, one of the greatest ambassadors of peace, universal ethics, and so forth. So therefore, this is something very special. And then when we pray, when we say include ourselves as a part of this, automatically we are going to be connected with His Holiness and with this great remembrance. Okay, so with this mind, say, let us dedicate, because today what we did is something so great for ourselves and for everyone, India, Indian people, for the world. And let's pray that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that he lives long and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And let us also pray that everyone will eventually be connected with the teaching, the practice, and the meditation on the wisdom of emptiness, the wisdom to see the reality as it is, and this unconditional love of Bodhicitta for all beings, and because of which the two demons will be eradicated fully, and that everyone experiences the bounties of happiness eternally. May the teaching, may the practice of the true Bodhicittas flourish in the minds of all eternal sentient beings in 3 times and in all directions in space. With that in mind, and let us read the prayers, page 278. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful chariots, the Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as a brave Manjushri and Samadabhadra too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with the dedication praise as the best by the victorious ones thus gone of the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. Chanjo Semjo Reamboche Magya Panam Ge Yoroche Gyaba Nyamba Myabaya Kone Kondo Pevaishu. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the pursuit of the Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the three times, and to the upholding of the Dharma and teaching of realization. May I in all life, through the force of this merit, never separate from the four wheels of the Mahana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfectly in the two stages. With a wish to free all pains, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I attempt to demand a full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. The path of union of emptiness and compassion is loosely explained by the Prasthata Buddha, Dharma, and the beings in the stool land. You are the Lotus of the Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans or non-humans who help our marriage through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be truly vanquished through the path of truth of the three jewels. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the scope. May I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of dependent origination in particular, even in the course of my life. Okay, so have a nice afternoon and nice evening.